Welcome back to Blurmatic. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Returning subscribers, thank you so much for returning and supporting. New subscribers, welcome to the channel. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. I also do other types of content because I'm a versatile blurred. So let's get right into it. So today's new video is going to be on Obi Wan Kenobi. Yes, episode 2. So we see pretty much in this episode a ship arriving to Dayu, and once Obi-Wan arrives to Dayu, he realizes something that is not the same as Tatooine. So it seems like the city, just the environment, is very metropolitan to it. I love that it has like that vibe to it, but there's a lot of corruption on this planet. Okay, so once he gets on the planet, he tries to look for leads. The first lead is a young lady, pretty much that, he's saying, yo, my daughter's been kidnapped. And she's like, oh, yeah, I've been here too. I was somebody's daughter. And she gives him like a free fragrance. And she's like, oh, you talking about your daughter? Oh, you're never going to see her again on this planet. I said, wow, like, shit just let him know off the rip, you know what I'm saying? But also I forgot to mention is when he arrived to the planet, the tracker that he had, he couldn't use. This planet, you could tell there's a lot of corruption because the guy was like, oh, by the way, yeah, tracking, it's not gonna work here. I was like, whoa. So then Obi-Wan stumbles across a young man. The young man takes him to like this fake Jedi. I don't know why. Dude was capping. Like he's pretending to be a Jedi and everything, and pretty much he's trying to help this family out. But then Obi-Wan comes across him like, yo, bro, you out here capping, bro. Like, you ain't no Jedi. You out here, he's using magnets, you know what I'm saying? He has like this Jedi clothing. I was like, wow, like, man's made a whole scheme. He out here tricking people for a living, you know what I'm saying? And making money off of it. And we see Obi-Wan confront him about that. I love that Obi-Wan confronts him like, bruh, like, you out here, you done made this family make it seem like they're going to get off this planet and they're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, why should I trust you? You know what I'm saying? Obi-Wan forces to get some information out of him. And eventually he gets the information. Literally, you know what I'm saying? Also in this episode, we see something that I was like, yo, I want to know a little bit more about the Sith Inquisitors, excuse me. And we do. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more into the actual review too, by the way. So, also we see Sister Sith. Oh, their sisters are tripping this episode, y'all. First off, she disobeyed the Grand Inquisitor of the Sith. I love her rebelliousness about herself. Like, I was like, I like her. I like her as a villain. She's like, oh, well, I'm the one that found out that Obi-Wan is still alive and everything. And we see her character kind of come out more so. And she's being disobedient. Also, she's the reason how they pretty much tracked Princess Leia. She used her as a decoy to find out if Obi-Wan was still alive. I said, I like a cunning, I like a charming villain, I like someone that thinks outside the box. So Sister pretty much is something else in this episode. But let me get back into what happens. So pretty much we see Obi-Wan finding out where Leia is, Princess Leia. And the thing is, to some degree, he has to make a diversion. So he comes across like this chemical lab where they're making like chemicals or maybe potions. Not potions, like fragrances or something. And low-key, that's where they have people held hostage. We see Obi-Wan fight his way through to find out where Princess Leia is at. He comes across this one area where it looks like it's her, but it's a robot. And I love how the head of the bounty hunters is like, yo, you fell for that. Sister told me he was going to fall for it. Obi-Wan eventually gets away. He uses the actual fragrance that the young lady gave him earlier. and as a decoy. Smart thinking. And I love like when sister comes, she's like, where is he? She's like very demanding and everything. And the thing is now Obi-Wan ends up getting Leia, but pretty much Princess Leia doesn't trust him. She comes in like fighting, like he's like, hey, look, I'm here. Your father sent me. This is why I'm here. And we can see in this episode the trust issues they have with one another. Princess Leia doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust her. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it had like Logan vibes to me. Like if you've seen Logan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This episode definitely was influenced by Logan, the actual third Wolverine movie. And we can see the complications, you know what I'm saying? Because now it's looking bad for Obi-Wan. First off, the Grand Inquisitor shut down the whole planet. Like, bro, like you ain't going nowhere on this planet. On top of that, Sister Sith, boy, she ain't put a bounty on Obi-Wan's head. So now everyone on the freaking planet pretty much knows that they're after Obi-Wan. You know what I'm saying? They got a picture up, a hologram picture of him and everything. And we can see that there's friction amongst the Sith Inquisitors. And the thing is, with the Sith Inquisitors, we see that the Grand Inquisitor and Sister Sith, they don't get along with each other. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, man, we the one that found you. You know what I'm saying? We brought you into this. Like, you were like, you know what I'm saying? You were living a life of a low life. You know, I guess she was brought up in poverty and everything. And I love how the Grand Inquisitor tries to throw it in her face, and you can tell Sister Sif ain't having that. Sister Sif ain't having that. She is sister, okay? She ain't having that mess. On top of that, in this episode, we see that literally the Inquisitors, when they lock down the planet, we see the stormtroopers with them and stuff. We also see how the people are. Like, the people are as scared of the Inquisitors. Like, this ain't just a tattooey thing. They like, huh? They were looking terrified and scared too. Like, do you blame them? Like, these are the top line Darth Vader's you know, people. You know what I'm saying? This is his hierarchy of like top Sith Lords. Also now, I can talk about it. In this episode, we learn about why they're the Sith Inquisitors, who they originally are. Like, this is an origin story a little bit. So Obi-Wan eventually tells Princess Leia that they used to be Jedi. Like, these people turned to the dark side. They were at some point on the good side. They eventually end up becoming that. Also, what I love about this episode, the action. There's a nice amount of action in this episode that really works. Also, just towards the end, like, there's some things where I'm just like, oh my god, like, this is crazy. So we see that eventually Sister Sif finds out where Obi-Wan is. But before that, her main bounty hunter gets killed by the Grand Inquisitor. He kills him off. Also, we see that her lightsaber is cool. I love her lightsaber. It looks like one of those pirate swords. I was like, yo, like, I love Sister Sif's sword. Lightsaber is so cool. Like, unga. You know. And we see her pretty much trying to find out where Obi-Wan is. Before she's rudely interrupted, we see the Grand Inquisitor Sith pretty much try to stop what was going on. He said, no, let me handle it. Sister Sif took him out the game. I was like, oh, she had killed him. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And she used like the words that he said about her. She's like, who's the scum now? I'm like, oh baby. She brought that heat. And I love like how she's like, Obi-Wan. I was like, man, I like how Princess Leia eventually trusts Obi-Wan in this episode, because the trust at first wasn't there. She realized she's a real Jedi. She's like, oh yeah, I've heard about Jedi. We also have a sentimental moment about Princess Leia and Obi-Wan and him remembering her mother. You know what I'm saying? Her mother she's very similar to her mother in some ways. And she's like, an old friend? And he's like, yeah, she was a leader just like you, Also, the ending of this episode. I mean, Sister Sif confirmed it. She said, you know, our Anakin's still alive, and you know, you can see the like look on his face, like hearing the news, and he realizes that Anakin's still alive. Do you see Anakin in the actual like chamber? I said, "Oh boy, you thought your princess was dead, buddy." So this was a very interesting episode. I liked the action scenes. There was some parkour with Sister Sif. There was a dev. I also forgot to mention I like that the other guy that was helping, he was, you know, he's the fake Jedi. He bought pretty much Obi Wan and Princess Leia time to get off the planet. Very interesting episode. Like the storytelling, like how the planet was. We saw how corrupt it was. But have you guys seen the latest episode of Obi Wan Kenobi? You tell me in the comments, guys. Your boy Blurmatic, guys. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking. Thanks for supporting. Have a wonderful Sunday, guys. I'm out. The saga continues. Oh, yeah. Thank you for support.